What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the WWE, on professional wrestling. It is Tuesday night, June 25th. We're back for episode 8. Episode 8 of Chopping It Up was supposed to happen last week, but I myself needed just a week off to recuperate, relax. It takes a toll on you when you're working 5 days a week and you don't have much time to relax on the weekend. So I needed a week to recuperate. I definitely got it last week. And now we're back on the grind here on the Big Fight Field channel. We've got so much in the world of WWE to talk about. Last week was one of the craziest weeks of the WWE I've seen in a long time. And tonight, we got my good friend for 3 years now on the Big Fight Field channel, Cameron Johnson here tonight. Escobar Morales not able to make it for episode 8. But Cam, what is going on, my friend? How are you been?
How the hell have I managed to be on this damn channel for 3 years? My God.
September will be 3.5, dude. It's a long time.
How in the hell?
My God. You doing good, though, for yourself, dude? I mean, shit, has been so much that's been going on this last week.
I am doing good, man. I'm doing good. It has been one hell of a week. It has been one hell of a week. We have the Wyatts debut, Jacob Fatu debut. We now have a closer card for Money in the Bank. Thumbboy's looking like he's gonna get a SummerSlam main event. We got shows coming to Indy. It's just Tyrese Halliburton was in attendance for Raw last night. He got his own T-shirt. It's just amazing.
Yes, sir, dude. Got so much to talk about when it comes to this bloodline and all that, and so much that happened last night. We'll get into the Wyattsicks and the incredible sit-down interview with Uncle Howdy last night, which was phenomenal in my opinion. I didn't watch Raw live. I saw it on Twitter, but it was fantastic. I've probably watched it like 4 times already, I want to say. Um, I absolutely loved it. The Money in the Bank card is looking better than previous PLEs that WWE has had. Of course, we have Money in the Bank coming up next weekend. And before we dive into anything, just want to give you guys a quick programming note for the week. We got AEW's Forbidden Door, AEW New Japan Forbidden Door. We're going to be here all week breaking that show down. We got the pay-per-view Sunday night, all that good stuff. For the next 6 weeks of chopping it up here on the Big Fight Field channel, the day is going to be moved from Tuesdays to Sundays. So we're going to be not going to be recording Tuesdays because I'm required to work on Tuesday nights starting next Tuesday, and I have to work. It's just what you got to do in life. So you got to adjust. And instead of Tuesday nights, we're going to be filming on Sundays. For the next 6 weeks, it shouldn't be that long. It's only going to take from like this upcoming Tuesday to like the middle of August. So for the next 6 weeks, you'll see myself, Cameron Johnson, and Escobar Morales on Sundays on the Big Fight Field channel. Of course, we may have obligations that come up here and there that we have to fulfill. But if not, we will be here on Sundays for Chopping It Up on the Big Fight Field channel. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss all the content that is coming up for this summer. All right, Cam. We have so much to talk about. And, man, I'm going to start off with SmackDown on Friday, which was, I probably would say, the best television show WWE has done this year, not counting a pay-per-view, but weekly television. I thought SmackDown was a great show, and it ended with the debut of Jacob Fatu in the new Bloodline Solo, pleading for Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens to stop attacking him, and then he tricked them into the debut of Jacob Fatu, took out Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and he gave Cody Rhodes a frog splash through the announce table. That was all on his first night in the WWE. Absolutely one of the better debuts I've seen in a long time in the WWE. And Cam, I know you have opinions in the Bloodline in the past. We've talked a lot about the Bloodline here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. So I want you to give your thoughts about this, and then I'll give mine after you. Go ahead, buddy.
I thought the Jacob Fatu debut was great. It's something we've been waiting on for a while, but I thought the Jacob Fatu debut was great. Jacob Fatu is the man that they should be pushing in this group. Now, so let's go. Jacob Fatu, I did not know this until I did some Google. I thought Jacob Fatu was like 37, 38 years old. Jacob Fatu is 32 years old. 32 years old. That man should be pushed as the spot Solo has. That should be Jacob Fatu. That should be the spot Jacob Fatu is in. Jacob Fatu is much more entertaining. Jacob Fatu is much more entertaining. He's much more interesting than Solo is or has ever been, quite frankly. And so they need to push this angle around Jacob Fatu. And Solo Sikoa, I think Solo may have decided I think Solo may have unknowingly just handed control of the bloodline over to Jacob Fatu. Because Jacob Fatu is not going to be a follower. You're not going to tell Jacob Fatu what to do. Jacob Fatu going to tell you what to do. Jacob Fatu going to tell you what to do. Like, Jacob Fatu, man, I need you to pick up that brick right there. Man, you going to pick up that brick right there, bro. Leave me alone. You ain't going to tell Jacob Fatu what to do. So, Solo Sikoa may have just signed his own death warrant at the hands of Jacob Fatu. But no, Jacob Fatu is incredible.
I mean, there's so much potential storylines with this new bloodline. Not just in the next coming months, but in the next couple years. You could see Jacob Fatu breaking away from this new bloodline. If you saw the end of SmackDown and, other people, they loved their what do you call it? They loved their secrets. And you saw the Tongans glance over at Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu like, yo, we didn't have any clue what you guys were doing with this plan. So maybe there's potential for that. But Cam, you know the feeling where in the NBA, where a team is on the cusp of trying to make a run for the playoffs, but they just don't have enough star power on that team. And then they get that star player at the trade deadline that they need to get to the cups of going to the playoffs. That's what happened to the Bloodline on Friday night. The Bloodline were not a playoff team before Friday night. When Jacob
as a whole wasn't a playoff team before Friday night. Like SmackDown, I'm going to cut you off. SmackDown as a whole was not a playoff team before Friday night. Like SmackDown needed that entire starting five to stay healthy because they had no depth. It's like they needed Cody to stay. It's like they needed Cody, AJ, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. They needed them five. They starting five to stay healthy. They didn't have a six-man. They didn't have a six-man. They could just throw in there. Because any other starting five members go out for an extended period of time, they are not touching they are not sniffing the playoffs. They ain't got a shot at it. It's like the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant or Devin Booker go down. It is over. But
yes.
they ain't going no damn well. That is SmackDown. That is SmackDown right there. Them five, one of them five get injured, it was over. Call it wraps. But now they got Jacob Fatu, so I think they'll be okay.
No, I totally agree. Jacob Fatu is going to be a big star in the WWE, but now this new bloodline is a playoff team in my eyes. They are a playoff team. They are legit. And Solo Sikoa, I mean, I'm not the biggest Solo Sikoa fan. There's a lot of Solo Sikoa haters on social media, but right now,
I'm one of them. I'm one of them.
Yeah, I totally understand. The guy's just not it. He's not it. But we'll talk about Solo in a little bit. But Solo is positioned to be the number one heel in the WWE, and that's what the position that Solo Sikoa is in right now. That he is the number one heel in the WWE. But the post match attack with Jacob Fatu was incredible. And it was announced last night on Raw that at Money in the Bank, we are indeed getting a six-man tag with Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens against the Bloodline at Money in the Bank. It's going to happen at Money in the Bank. I don't know which three members of the Bloodline it's going to be, but it was announced. It was announced last night on Raw. But in other news related to this, Dave Meltzer came out, I believe it was over the weekend, and said that the main event of SummerSlam is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. And that I don't think, well, you could see by the dog's reaction on that one, that I don't think is the right match for SummerSlam. Because I don't think Solo Sikoa is ready for a big match like this. I just don't see it. So, dude, Solo Sikoa is positioned to be in the main event of the second biggest show of the year. Can you believe this? What's your thoughts?
See me sleeping?
Yes.
Those are my thoughts.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's kind of my thoughts too. That's my thoughts as well.
They should just do Jacob Fatu and Cody at SummerSlam. To be quite honest with you.
I'd be totally down with that. That's a much more intriguing match considering how badly Jacob Fatu um beat up Cody Rhodes on Friday night. And then when you're doing Solo versus Cody Rhodes, you now have the question of what's Randy Orton doing at SummerSlam. You know, you're leaving Randy Orton in the dust at SummerSlam. So does he wrestle Kevin Owens? I don't know. But what this also could set up is the potential return for Roman Reigns, which, I mean, I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the show, and that's my fault. I apologize for that. But earlier today, Roman Reigns' father, Sika Anawai, he passed away at the age of 79. So thoughts and prayers go out to Roman Reigns and the Anawai family with this passing of um,
One of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Wild Samoans, WWE Hall of Famers. If you ever wonder why the Samoans have a cushy spot, when I've always had a cushy spot in WWE for as long as they have, go back and watch the Wild Samoans. Truly one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Rest in peace.
Yep. Rest in peace to Sika from the Wild Samoans, and my thoughts and prayers, and I'm sure most of the wrestling community's thoughts and prayers are with the Anawai family during this difficult time. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. So, okay, we talked about the debut of Jacob Fatu, and I think this topic is probably going to take up chunk of this podcast and us talking about it. And it is the Wyattsicks. They debuted last week on Monday Night Raw. The wrestling community loved it. The wrestling world loved it, as I did myself. I thought the presentation of the Wyattsicks last week was phenomenal. From Nikki Cross to Eric Rowan to Dexter Loomis to Uncle Howdy himself, Bo Dallas. I thought it was absolutely incredible. They took out Chad Gable backstage. I thought they shot him in the head. To be perfectly honest with you, they murdered Chad Gable. How the guy was cleared to participate in a match, um, it boggles my mind. I don't know, but Chad Gable was their first victim from the Wyattsicks in their debut last week. You got all of them standing out by the lantern, and Bo Dallas does the "We're here" the same way Bray would do it, and that was pretty emotional hearing that. And then last night, the sit-down interview with Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas was probably, I mean, I shouldn't say Bo Dallas because that felt so real last night. That was Taylor talking to us. Um, that was probably Bo Dallas's best work ever in the WWE. But as great as the first 2 weeks have been with the Wyattsicks, I do have my doubts. I have my doubts on the Wyattsicks, but I know my thoughts on it. I want to hear your thoughts on it, Cam. I want to hear what you thought of the viral debut because that's exactly it went viral last week. The viral debut of the Wyattsicks. Do you like it? How high is the ceiling for this faction? Um, is it going to get stale in a couple months? What's your thoughts on this whole Wyatt Six that has now basically been the talking point of Monday Night Raw the past 2 weeks?
WWE has to be very careful with the Wyattsicks. They have to be very careful with how they present them. The first 2 weeks have been great. But the first 2 weeks have been great. But when I say they have to be careful with how they present them, how do you feud with a faction like this? How do you take a faction and how do you feud with a faction like how do you feud with a faction like this? They have to be very careful that they don't kill off their entire roster. Because even though these types of that's why I was kind of hesitant about the Wyattsicks stuff, why I had been hesitant on Bray Wyatt since the Fiend stuff. Like yeah, the Wyattsicks stuff, they had a really cool debut so far, it was great. But it's how do you feud with them? Is it a thing of where you're gonna try to beat them up and they just no sell the move, and then they just no sell all your moves, and then when you get to the match, it's just a 2 minute squash. Is it gonna be a competitive back and forth thing where they're selling moves? How do you feel or is it just gonna be a thing where they no sell pretty much everything and the matches and shit are not good like the Fiend was? They have to be very careful how they present it and how they book this. How do you go about presenting this type of faction, and presenting these type of characters in WWE. Because in WWE, it's not just these are great characters I can act. No, in WWE, in WWE, you have, especially now, fans are expecting you not only for the gimmick to be good, you have to be somewhat competent in the ring. Your matches cannot go out there and stink out the joint. You have to be able to go in there and put on very competent, very respectable matches. And the if the White Sick are able to do that, and they certainly have to. I mean, they have the talent for it. Everybody in the White Sick in the ring, they can go. Mickey Cross is, we obviously know that Mickey Cross is very good. Dex Lemons is very good. Joe Gacy is very good. Joe Gacy is very good. Bo Dallas is very good. So, like, we know that the people in the White Sick can work. We know that they can go. But it's just how is it presented on television? Because if it's a thing where they're going to be the supernatural guys and they're going to and they're going to kill off every babyface on the roster, it's going to be hard for people. It's going to be hard for the baby faces or heels to really feud with this group without them not looking like the superior group. So how do you go about presenting this people? So how do you go about presenting them on television? That would be the one. That'd be the one thing I think WWE needs to figure out.
I think you took the words out of my mouth, man. I'm just like the presentation has been great. The entrance last week and the debut was fantastic. My big worry with this faction is what happens when it's time to wrestle. You know, is is Rowan gonna wrestle in a big bunny mask? Is Dexter Loomis gonna wrestle in a huge Mercy the Buzzard mask? You know, how realistic are these matches gonna be? Are they gonna no sell the entire time? Are they gonna be competitive with their matches? I could
It cannot be a thing where they no sell the entire stuff if you look at the Undertaker in the '90s, yeah, Undertaker when he first started out in the '90s, yeah, Undertaker no selling work, but then Undertaker in the '90s no selling work, but then the character had to evolve to where you could go in there and actually have a 10, 15, 20 minute match and not make the other guy look bad. Like that's what was great about the Undertaker. Is like the Undertaker, I think, is probably the only example in wrestling history where like feuding with the Undertaker right? Where like if you were getting ready to work with the Undertaker, they saw big shit in you. Like if you're getting ready to work with the Undertaker, they're getting ready to feud you with the Undertaker. They saw big shit in you. And they saw big shit in you. They wanted you to go on and do big things if you was gonna go out and feud with the Undertaker, right? And have matches with him. It's like especially like the 2000s. Undertaker just wasn't in there no selling people. Undertaker was in there having competitive back and forth matches against guys like Shelton Benjamin, for example. I like Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin is great, but like in WWE, he was a mid-card guy. In WWE, Shelton was a mid-card guy. Undertaker was going in there having competitive back and forth matches with him. Like it has to be a thing where they had to go in there and they had to go in there and they had to sell and work and make the other guys look good, because if not, what are we doing here? What are
I
we doing?
agree.
Yeah, you're gonna have the super. Undertaker was supernatural, right? Yeah, Undertaker was supernatural. Oh yeah, it was unrealistic with Undertaker. But with Undertaker, we just grew to love it and we just grew to respect him. No, that's crap shit we respect from Undertaker. Okay, all right, the lights are gonna go out. Undertaker's gonna be right here. Okay, all right, the Undertaker's gonna talk about ripping. All right, the Undertaker's gonna talk about making him rest in peace. He's gonna dig him a tombstone or whatever. Okay, cool. All right, okay, cool. He's Undertaker. Like, how are these guys gonna work? How are these guys gonna feud with other guys on the roster? Because even supernatural guys like Kane and the Undertaker were in there having competitive back and forth matches. So like,
Yes.
how is this gonna work?
And I also wonder too, are these guys is this faction going to be a babyface faction by the reception that they're getting, or are they going to get heels? Like, how are they going to cut live promos? Like, I'm going to be totally honest with you, Cam. I loved everything about the first 2 weeks of the Wyatt Six, but I don't have high expectations, and I just have questions about how are they going to wrestle? Are they not? Are they going to be? Are they going to sell in the ring for their opponents? Are they heels? Are they baby faces? Are they going to go out to the ring and cut promos like everybody else does? Are they going to go cut a promo like Seth Rollins does on Raw? I don't know, and I just don't know how you can make a spooky faction like this in 2024 work. I don't know how you can do it. And to be honest with you, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. And do I trust Triple H? I want to say yes. Again, I want to say yes. The first 2 weeks have been incredible, but we've barely seen anything yet. And I think based off last night, where Chad Gable was going to his old Alpha Academy and was like, "Hey, I'm willing to make amends. I'm sorry about what happened the past couple months. I want to be back with my family." And the Alpha Academy was like, "We're glad that you're okay, Chad, but we meant what we said last week and that we're done." And then right after that happened, all of a sudden the Creed brothers walk up to Chad Gable and they're like, "Do you need help?" So maybe this results in a um this results in a 6-man of some sorts, or an 8-man with if you're gonna add the women in it, um at SummerSlam or on an episode of Raw. I'm guessing that their first feud with the Wyatt Six first feud is going to be with the Alpha Academy. So, um, do they have me hooked? Yes, they honestly do. I want to see what happens week in and week out with this Wyatt Six faction. Last night, uh, we saw Nikki Cross creeping up on Chad Gable after Chad Gable had qualified for the Money in the Bank. And that's all. We literally only saw Uncle Howdy and Sister Abigail, which was Nikki Cross, last night. So I'm hooked. I can't wait to see what happens next week. And you know, I want to bring this up briefly while I mention him before we move on to our next topic here. Um, Chad Gable winning Money in the Bank. I would love to see happen. I think the Creed brothers helping Chad Gable win Money in the Bank would probably be the best way to get them in the Alpha Academy. I think it should happen. What do you think, dude? Do you think Gable wins Money? I mean, we got that next week to predict, or no? Because yeah, we might as well say it now. Um, I'm going with Gable to win Money in the Bank, man. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think that's the best thing WWE can do for the Money in the Bank ladder match.
I don't think Chad Gable's winning. I think Jey Uso's winning. I think Jey Uso's winning Money in the Bank. I think Jey Uso's winning Money in the Bank. But Chad Gable winning Money in the Bank, I might not mind. Now I pitched the idea of Chad Gable winning Money in the Bank, and then he cashes in on the IC title. But and then he cashes in on the IC title, but I got roasted for that. I got killed for that one. But Chad Gable, I wouldn't mind that. Chad Gable wins Money in the Bank. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I just think that um, I just think that if Jey Uso wins Money in the Bank, Jey Uso is not going to successfully cash in because Gunther is going to be a champion for a really long time. And if Chad Gable wins Money in the Bank, I don't know. There is a possibility that Chad Gable could be able to cash in successfully, cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase successfully. So um, I'm excited. I'm excited about this new Alpha Academy. I'm excited about the Wyattsicks. Monday Night Raw and their factions. They're set. They got the Judgment Day, they got the Alpha Academy, and they got the Wyattsicks. So with as long as factions, they're doing great over on Raw. Um, Speaking of great, this feud between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre has been taken up to the next level. Now, the last time we were on here was before Clash of the Castle. Obviously, everybody knows what happened. CM Punk costed Drew McIntyre the world title in Scotland. Um, Drew McIntyre quit, only for him to show up on SmackDown and absolutely beat the piss out of CM Punk. But I think this Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud is set up to be the best feud in not only WWE, but in professional wrestling this year. That's how good it is. That's how good this feud is between Punk and McIntyre. It's personal. They both want to absolutely kill each other. And I think we got one more stepping stone before we get to that match at SummerSlam. And obviously, that is CM Punk costing Drew McIntyre the Money in the Bank briefcase at Money in the Bank once Drew qualifies next week. Cam, what's your thoughts? CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
I love it. I love it. This feud has been masterful so far, man. I love Drew McIntyre showing up on SmackDown and murdering CM Punk. But that was your first interview. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell kind of show is you running, Triple H? What the hell kind of show is you running? Chad Gable got murdered. CM Punk got murdered. Whoa. What kind of show are you running, Paul? What kind of show are you running where people are just killing each other left and right on television? Jacob Fatu murdering Cody Rhodes. What is going on down there, bro? It's a sloppy shot. Shut up the Taz. What's going on down there? But no, the Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud has been great. It has been great so far. Great television. It is the best feud in wrestling right now. It is the best feud.
Yeah, I agree. And they both only make it personal on each other. And I could honestly, when they have their feud and their I could see this being a trilogy. See this being a trilogy of matches going into the fall and ending off the year in 2024. So obviously we'll have more to talk about with Punk and McIntyre as the feud continues in these next coming weeks. But it's exciting stuff, man. It really is. So um, this was broken yesterday. WWE makes a deal with Indianapolis Sports Corporation. Shout out Stevie from Indy. Huge deal from the WWE with Indianapolis that they are getting 3 huge events in the next 7 to 10 years, with the Royal Rumble in 2025, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. So Indianapolis is going to get the WWE's 3 biggest events, this up in the next 7 to 10 years, and it's a big deal for the fans in Indy. That WWE announced this with Minnesota at their long-term planning events. They got 2 night SummerSlam 2026 in Minneapolis, and I love it, man. I love this for the WWE. I love this for the city of Indy. I won't go out for any of these shows because I'm not particularly a huge fan of the city of Indianapolis. I have been there before, and it's cool, but I wouldn't prefer it. But what's your thoughts on the big news that dropped yesterday?
First off, first off, rest of Indiana. I would not disrespect those who just threw my way. That's my name threw my way. Second, second, it's an absolutely big deal. Second, it's a great deal. Absolutely big deal by WWE. I wonder if we're going to see more deals from cities like this. I wonder if we're going to see more deals from cities like this. Hopefully, they can get Tyrese Halliburton. Hopefully, they can get Tyrese Halliburton doing commentary, making a special guest appearance or something. Making a special guest appearance or something. Because you know Hallie's going to be at all these shows. Yeah, you know the Pacers are not playing the game. You know Hallie is going to be at every one of these shows. So that's great. And also, this has been unrelated. The Panthers are getting their stadium redone. So
Yes.
hopefully, we can get a Rumble or maybe or something in short. But overall, I thought this is very good. Overall, I thought this is great news. Very exciting news for Indiana.
So, mate, dude, could you imagine a WrestleMania at Charlotte or a SummerSlam at Charlotte?
I'm trying to get one. Me and Esco have been trying to get one.
That'd be pretty lit. But no, that's awesome for Indianapolis. Um, Obviously, Pat McAfee's a huge fan of that. Which also thoughts and prayers with Pat McAfee's family as well, since his father-in-law passed away yesterday. He announced that on the Pat McAfee show today. That's why he wasn't on Raw last night. And you know, his city, Indy, getting the 3 biggest shows. Um, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania in the next 7 to 10 years. Uh, dude, you know it was bogus? Last week, NXT, Joe Hendry, say his name and he appeared on the show in the 25-man battle royal, and
I believe you're here.
he was the first person eliminated. So Shawn Michaels is not Shawn Michaels does not believe in Joe Hendry. Um, at time of recording, we are recording this before NXT comes on, so we'll see if he appears tonight. I doubt he does, but apparently, according to PW Insider, that Joe Hendry will be appearing more on NXT television in the coming months. Joe Hendry had a tweet that teased him appearing on NXT Heatwave next weekend in Toronto as a part of Money in the Bank weekend. And right now, Joe Hendry is the most over wrestler in the entire world. So the more Joe Hendry we see on NXT, the better it is. So your quick take on Joe Hendry being on NXT last week. Will Joe Henry have a big role? Does he win a championship in NXT in the future?
I was excited to see him, and then I was excited to see him, and then I was disappointed that he got eliminated from the Battle Royal so quickly. I was like, damn, they just straight up eliminated my guy in like 10 seconds, like 10 seconds. But But I was happy to see Joe Hendry on NXT. I hope we see more appearances from Joe Hendry because Joe Hendry is great. Joe Hendry is fantastic. And I've been saying that for a while. I've been saying that for a while. If you have not seen, uh, Edge's bitch about Joe Hendry, that is something you need to watch. To give a bit of background on it, Joe Hendry was feuding with Matt Cardona at the time. He was feuding with Matt Cardona and Kurt Hawkins at the time, and he made a music video called Edge's Bitch, and it is absolutely fantastic. So, and it is absolutely fantastic. So, if you have not seen that, if you have not seen that, you need to see it. Matt Cardona and Kurt Hawkins are just, they are trying so hard to just hold their laughter in. And then even got an approval from
Oh,
Edge.
it's fantastic.
It even got an approval from Edge. Edge was like, "This shit was great." Edge was like, "This shit was great." But Joe Hendry is great. I've said that for a while. I don't know what he does at NXT Heatwave because it's looking like a four-way for the NXT title with Shawn Spears, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, and Javon Evans. So I don't know what he does at Heatwave, but hopefully he does appear at Heatwave.
Yeah, I mean, he should definitely be on the show. Which, by the way, I understand that Ethan Page and Sean Spears are both from Canada, but I'm just not that big of a fan of the Fatal Four Way match. I would much rather see Javon Evans against Trick Williams straight up for the NXT Championship. That would be much better, in my opinion. Um, all right, the last topic of discussion that we have before we get into trivia, which, by the way, I was doing my trivia research and it was very hard to find good topics for this week in WWE. Next week is going to be better because next week is Money in the Bank and we'll be able to do tons of Money in the Bank trivia on episode 9 next Sunday. But yesterday, Triple H appeared on the Pat McAfee show, and he talked about the new um, Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And something that he had brought up is how there's going to be, it's not going to be censored. It's not going to be censored like it is like it is on the USA Network. Whenever the crowd chants "Holy shit" or they chant "fuck you" to someone, we're actually going to be able to hear that on Netflix in 2025 in the foreseeable future. So I would be highly disappointed if on the first episode on Netflix, Seth Rollins doesn't come out and call himself Seth fucking Rollins. So I'd be highly disappointed if that doesn't happen. Um, you got any thoughts on the uncensoring on Netflix? Are you excited for the move to Netflix? I'm not too excited about it yet because it's early, but we got about 6 months until the move over to Netflix. Your
I,
thoughts?
I don't think we're getting all that. Like, to be quite honest with you, I don't think we're getting F bombs and stuff on WWE television. Or if we do, it's not going to be a thing of where they try to. Or if we do get that, it's not going to be a thing where it is going to be extremely, where it is going to be an extremely rare thing. Like, I just thought they meant to censor out on like WWE television. I didn't look at it as they're just gonna let them go out there and just go let them go crazy. Let them go crazy like that. I don't think they are going to do that. I don't think they are going to do that. But, I don't think they are going to do that. But I'm just glad the censorship is gone, man. Especially with the crowds chanting. Like when the crowd's saying, like when the crowd starts chanting, they're not going to mute all the damn chants, like with asshole. The way they mute. God, I hate that shit, bro. Like, asshole, asshole. And then they mute the chant. I hate that shit with passion. So that is one thing I'm looking forward to. That shit will be gone.
I absolutely hate when they mute holy shit. Like we know what they're talking about. There's little kids in the arena that hear the word shit. So what's the
Holy shit, bro. The Vegas are probably letting them do it. Bro, one of the funniest things, bro. I remember I went to I remember I went to the WWE house show. This was part of WWE's Christmas tour back in 2012, and they had the rope, and they had the rope, and they had the New Age Outlaws on the show. They had the New Age Outlaws on the show wrestling Rhodes and Sandow. And so, the New Age Outlaws, the New Age Outlaws, they come out and they do their shit. Or Billy Gunn is like, he's like, this right here is the badass Billy Gunn. I was doing it with him. And right before he said badass, I looked at my dad. I was like, Dad, can I say badass? He's like, go ahead. I was like, can I say badass? He's like, go ahead. I'm like, the badass Billy Gunn. Like, the kids are gonna be in the too. Oh man, like one of the funniest things I've ever seen on the WWE show. This goes back to NXT in 2015 when Rhino, this was when Rhino was working in NXT, and Rhino came out, and you could see one of the kids, and you could see one of the parents in the crowd cover his kid's ears and start chanting, "Holy shit! Holy shit!" He had to cover his kid's ears and he started chanting, "Holy shit!" That was funny as hell.
That's hilarious. But I mean, I just don't see a difference. There's kids, there's 9-year-old kids who hear holy shit chants when they go to WWE shows. So
Kids cuss like a sailor. I should know. I was cussing like a sailor when I was 9. 9-year-old kids cuss like a sailor. Okay.
oh, trust me, dude. I work at a school with a bunch of kids, and they curse all the time. So they say shit all the time, like shit. So there's no difference. There's no difference at all. Just stop bleeping it. And I agree with you. Now that we talked about it, that's what I'm looking forward to the most when they go to Netflix is they don't have to bleep fucking holy shit anymore because that is so annoying. It really is. So, um, but we don't have to worry about that until 2025. We'll worry about that when we get close to the date of 2025, June, January, whatever. I think it's January 1st or whatever. But okay, that's all we covered for episode 8 of Chopping It Up. And now we got some trivia. This week in WWE, I got 5 questions. They're not the best. It was honestly very hard to find questions for this week for the WWE, but I got 5 questions. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first one, this goes back to 2014. Who won the Money in the Bank ladder matches on June 29th, 2014? Was it A, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, B,
Rollins and John Cena?
there, yep. That was my third option. Seth Rollins and John Cena. That is the correct answer. Um, Same event, Money in the Bank 2014. What was the location of this pay-per-view? Was it A?
It was Chicago.
It was not Chicago.
Okay.
Was it A, Philadelphia, B, Cleveland, Ohio, C, Los Angeles, or D, Boston? Philadelphia, Cleveland, Los Angeles, Boston.
I'm gonna go Boston. If not Boston, then Philly.
You would be correct on that one. That 2014 Money in the Bank was in Boston. There you go.
Boston and Cena still got. I miss when they used to go to his old town and they still used to boo.
Oh, they still sung his song. They still sung John Cena sucks. Doesn't matter if he was home. I miss that era whenever Cena came out, they sang John Cena sucks. No one does that anymore. No one does that with John Cena anymore. But all right. Question 2. This happened in 2011, and I think you probably know this one already. In what city did CM Punk cut his famous pipe bomb promo? Was it Los Angeles, San Diego, Phoenix, or Las Vegas?
Was it Vegas?
It
I
was Vegas.
think it was yeah, I think it was Vegas because I think they did Raw Roulette that night.
Yep, it was Vegas. It happened after R-Truth wrestled Cena in the main event, and CM Punk came out, his Stone Cold T-shirt, and the rest was history with the pipe bomb with CM Punk. Um, question 4: Who? This happened in 2005. Who did Batista retain the WWE title inside Hell in a Cell against at Vengeance?
Triple H. It was Triple
Triple.
H. That is one of my favorite WWE matches of all time. That is one of the best Hell in a Cell. First off, Vengeance 2005 is one of the best WWE pay-per-views of all time. Period. That is one of the best. That is one of the best WWE pay-per-views of all time. Period. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Cena, Jericho, and Christian. Great triple threat for the WWE title.
Oh yes.
And then the main event, and then that main event, Batista and Triple H, one of the most violent Hell in a Cell matches you will ever see, with an absolutely fantastic finish. Where Triple H grabs the sledgehammer, Batista goes for the Batista, gets Triple H up for the Batista bomb. You think Triple H is going to hit Batista with the sledgehammer on the way down, but he doesn't. And Batista retains the world title. And that, gentlemen, is how you make a star. 3 straight pay-per-view losses. Triple H gave that man Batista right there.
You know how I know that pay-per-view? By listening to Chris Van Vliet and his interview with Christian Cage. And Christian Cage, that was the time in 2005 Vengeance Day where he felt like he didn't belong because WWE put Jericho in that match. It was supposed to be Christian versus John Cena, I think, and they added Chris Jericho in like the last week or two. So that's how I know that pay per view. And I did, yes, watch. I have seen the 2005 Hell in a Cell match with Triple H and Batista, which was a great Hell in a Cell match in my opinion. Can't make line, folks. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on Peacock, so be sure to go ahead and check out that match. And this is the last question. This happened recently, so this is kind of a softball question, but June 24th, 2020. This was on an episode of NXT. Who interrupted Adam Cole? Who interrupted Adam Cole's promo to set up a winner-take-all match? Was it Dominic Dijakovic, Matt Riddle, Finn Balor, or Keith Lee?
Keith Lee!
Yes, sir. That was probably the easiest question out of them all. So
I miss Keith Lee. Man, I miss him so much.
is he hurt again?
Yes.
Still hurt. He's been hurt for 6 months. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for episode 8 of Chopping It Up with myself and Cameron Johnson. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, I'm sorry about all the glitches on my end of the computer screen. And the computer's been acting up very weird lately, so I'm just trying to get it as good as possible during the podcast. But be sure to subscribe, comment down below your thoughts about everything we talked about. Jacob Fatu, the Wyattsicks, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, all of that stuff. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from us. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. And Cam, send us home, my friend.
Follow me on Cam. Also, subscribe. First off, you better subscribe to Big Boy Phil. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Rated. Also, make sure you subscribe to Rated M Wrestling. Why? Because that's where the Rated M podcast is, baby. About 6,000, about 6 to 7, about 6,000 subs over there. We just wrapped up our WWE hot. We wrapped up reacting to your dumb, reacting to y'all's people's stupid ass hot takes. Y'all people are Got us some more rods, my God, but it was fun. But it was fun reacting to them. And also make sure you tune in. And also make sure you sub because not only are we playing WWE Jeopardy this week, or not only are we playing WWE Jeopardy on Thursday, but on Saturday we are rewatching one of the greatest WWE pay-per-views of all time, Money in the Bank 2011. We're doing a live watch along, so that interests you. Come sub and follow me on Twitter at Cam71101.
That's awesome, man. Saturday night, be sure to subscribe to the Rated M podcast as they rewatch one of the greatest matches of all time. John Cena versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship in Chicago, Money in the Bank 2011. But guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow night for AEW Dynamite right here on the Big Fight Field channel. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy and love wrestling. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.